So welcome back to the studios of Wild Treasures of an Outdoorsman. What you see up here is a cluster of bucks, or a buck cluster, however you want to put it. All these deer, except for this one, were killed in Georgia. I put my Georgia deer over here and my Florida deer over here. I always like to display my deer. They mean so much to me, so many great memories. Anyway, I had a new idea and I thought I would include all of you in on it. This is my studio. This is where I do all my drawings and my writing and make my videos. I'm Peter Updike and I wrote Wild Treasures of an Outdoorsman, and this YouTube channel is dedicated to the lifestyle of the hunting and fishing and outdoors. So let me show you the change I'm going to make. What I've got here is I do all my hunting, 90% of my hunting here in the great state of Florida. I am sporting my Hunt Florida t-shirt today, and dedicating what I'm going to do to 3 bucks that I killed on private land. All 3 of them are swamp bucks. They're Florida cabbage palm swamp bucks. And what I want to do is I want to make a display where I put those 3 deer together, like I've got these deer here. This is one of the bucks that came out of that swamp, and he's my best deer from that area. It's a private land located in the Withlacoochee State Forest. This buck is a Withlacoochee State Forest buck, and that one, and that one. So all 3 of those came off of private land. Okay, I've got some public land bucks here, but I'm not going to include those into the cluster. Okay, they're going to be separate. So what I've got is I've got some boards. I've got some cypress boards that are weathered, and I want to make a framework and put those bucks inside that cypress wood framework and put them on the wall. But first I'll show you the deer. This is side tine. At some point, side tine broke off his antler there and it grew back. He didn't break it off completely, but he's a great buck. I killed him on a Friday evening, probably around 9 o'clock in the evening. And then I've got this one, which I know you've seen before. This buck here, he's one of the swamp deer. And then I've got one over here. This is the oldest buck I've ever killed. He's about eight and a half years old. He was aged at 8.5 years old. And his rack kind of resembles that. But I'm going to make a cypress frame to go, let's see, where my Ocala buck is. This is my Ocala buck, and I'm going to move him and probably put him over here, and I'm going to make a framework to put my deer in for my Withlacoochee State Forest. I want all 3 of them together. I want to frame them out in cypress wood. I've got some beautiful weathered cypress wood, and I'm going to build the thing and show it to you on the video. So let's go outside and look at the wood, and I'll show that to you, and then we'll begin laying the thing out and constructing it. All right, see you in a bit. So here are my boards. This is reclaimed lumber. These came off of a fence that I had built in the front of the house. I built a cypress fence for my garden area, and it kind of rotted and got bugs in it, so I had to take it down, and I put up a pressure treated garden fence, and it looks real nice. It's around the front of the house. But I wanted to save all of these because it's got this cypress wood look to it, right? And I'm going to arrange them in such a way where I can mount my deer heads on it. It appears that I have plenty of lumber here, so I'm going to lay these things out. I'm going to go inside and get some measurements and see just how big I can make this thing. It could be that I'll run it this way like that, vertical boards on the side like so. I got all kind of screws, and all this rough edges, all that rotten wood, I'll just keep that, right? I'll do like that, do like that. Run boards across the top, like so. That gives me plenty of room for my deer to be displayed on there. So I'll put my 3 Wahoo Swamp bucks on this display panel. It'll look kind of cool. So we'll get out here and we'll get some measuring done. I'm gonna go back inside. I'm gonna take my deer off the wall and lay them out on the floor and just see how I want to pad them. So I know how much room I gotta have. And then we'll come out. We'll start cleaning the boards. That's Chipper, my dog. Say hi, Chipper. So here are my bucks. I've got all three of them laid out here on the floor to try and kind of figure out how I'm going to lay them out. I'm kind of going to do a triangular shape where we'll put the dominant buck in the center up top and then put these just a little bit lower. This is the only one that'll kind of stand up on its own. Just want to get an idea of how much room I'm going to need. So I bring my deer, kind of do something like this. And they're all looking in the same direction, so that's great. I'll be looking towards the entrance of the room. When somebody comes in, they look up and see. It'll make sense to them. So if we look at it from here, from this perspective, like that, we're going to need a minimum of 4 feet, but 5 feet would be too much, 4 feet would be too little. And I'll go with 32 inches of height as a minimum and 36 as the most you'll need. So we're going to use this space. We're going to use this space up here for the area that we're going to put it in. So this deer comes down and that picture comes down. We put our boards. So that's 4'3". So we came up here 4'3" by 32 high. And then 1, 2, 3 bucks on a cypress wooden panel. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut the boards, right? And then clean them up and find my studs and just use finishing nails to put them in. I'm not gonna attach all the boards and make it all one unit. I'll just stack them one on top of another, right? And then the boards that carry the deer, well, the deer mounts don't weigh much at all. They're really quite light. So I'm going to take this one down and put him over there where my other swamp buck is. It makes more sense to have him over there. And I got my Georgia deer over there. And I've got all my other deer there. So let's go back outside and start cleaning up some boards. All right. So I've made another game time decision. I've decided to make a whole outer frame, okay? So that means I gotta cut 2 pieces at 51 from long point to long point on a 45. So if we cut this at a 45, like so, but my saw's not gonna be big enough, so I'm gonna have to cut it with a skill saw. So I'll just take my square here and get myself 45 inches, 45 degrees right there. This is what happens when a welder tries to do woodwork. All right, so there you go. It's 45 there, and we were going to be 51. Gotta cut that edge off right there. Man, is that close? All right. First cut. Cut the other side as well. Now we can measure for our 45 on this side. And right there should do it. Alright, I'm going to cut all 4 of these. That way I'll have my outer perimeter. And then I'll cut my boards to go on the inside. Boy, these boards are nice and rustic. I'm going to clean them up just a little bit, but not too much. Because I like that patina. I want that old look, right? So here's my frame. Let's see, it's 51 by 40, so that's exactly the measurements I need to match up the wall, the little pass-through that goes from the studio into the kitchen. And then the height is good, and the width is going to be perfect. So I got plenty of lumber left, and I've made the, like that, it's just kind of like a picture frame, right? Cut it in a picture frame. And it all squares up pretty nice. It's a 65 and a half and 65 and a half, so we're 65 and 3/8, so we're dead on. Kind of got a few little gaps here and there, but I'm not going to worry too much about that. We're doing rough cut lumber, right? This again is cypress wood that I reclaimed from a fence that I put up here about 15 years ago. I replaced that fence and I said, what am I going to do with all this lumber? And I thought, well, I'll save it and we'll see. So I got the idea of putting all 3 of my swamp bucks on a frame and putting them in my room. Drywall's nice, but it ain't very pretty, so I'm going to try and fill it in a little bit here and there. So I got the rest of the wood. Now I've got to do is figure out the spacing inside here. I'm hoping it'll fit perfect. I may have to trim some more and bring it down a little bit, or bring it in a little bit to match the boards that I have now. So that's where I am in the project. I've been cutting and ciphering and trying to figure out how this is all going to come together, and it looks like it's come together. This bottom here is rotten. I like that. I'm not going to do too much. I'm going to sand it down a little bit and brush it off a little bit, but I'm not going to get too carried away because it's the old patina. It's that old cypress look of cypress boards is what I'm after, right? Represent my swamp buck. So just kind of, just real lightly on both sides, get in the crud off of there that I really don't want in the house. And just like that. Don't get too carried away because again, I want that rustic finished wood look, okay? All right, so that's, I don't know, step 3, step 4, I don't know, we're moving along. Now I'm gonna go ahead and space my inner boards and then cut them to fit, and I'll have them all laid out here, and I'll show you those before I start carrying them inside. And then I'm gonna put them up one at a time using finishing nails. I'm banking on studs being in the right place. I don't know, we'll see. I know we got a stud across the bottom all the way, but I don't know where they land through here, so we'll see. All right, see ya. All right, so I'm back. I've got all my boards cut. Let me show them to you. As you can see, I've got a 45 on each side, which creates a perimeter, and then the boards throughout the center. Take it inside now, and what we'll do is we'll start installing on one piece at a time using finishing nails. And of course I'm gonna have to search for studs, try and hopefully my end pieces going up will be on a stud, and a little bit right, a little bit left, but if not, we might have to improvise with how we attach it. But so far I'm real happy with the way the project's going. I've got a little lumber here left over, and those deer heads are going to look great on this rustic board, this rustic display frame. I think it's just going to look cool to have my big buck there in the center, and then the 2 other ones down here a little bit lower, all looking in the same direction. When you come in the room, you'll be able to see it. So let's take everything inside now and start putting it up one board at a time. All right, we'll be back in just a minute. See ya. Bye. So as you can see, I got a pretty good start on the thing. Got it framed out, and I got a couple of planks in place, and it was giving me kind of a hard time, so I kind of had to take a break and go have some lunch and maybe take a little bit of nap. I got my afternoon coffee, so I'm gonna finish this thing up. It shouldn't take too much longer to get those. But I got all my boards sanded down and cleaned, and then I'll find a way to hang my deer on the panel, on our wooden cypress rough cut panel. It's turning out real good. I had a little trouble getting everything squared up the way I like it. It was kind of making me a little frustrated. So I had, like I said, I had to take a step away from it and back up. So I'm gonna go ahead and start putting more boards on and see how it looks, see how it turns out. All right, so there you have it. That's the Wahoo Swamp Buck Cluster. I think it turned out great. I love the way that old wood against the wall kind of reflects the character and nature of what Florida swamp bucks are. And like I said earlier in the video, all these deer came off the same island in the middle of a swamp. I was able to kill these deer, and I put pictures underneath here. Maybe I'll leave those, maybe I won't. Maybe you want to comment and tell me what you think about putting pictures on there. I think maybe if you had tax and you put pictures on there, that'd be kind of cool, but then it might cheapen it a little bit. But yeah, I think I like it. It looks good. Those are my Wahoo Swamp Bucks. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to y'all soon. See ya. Bye.